much for still staying tuned. This Thursday morning ride. Time now for newspaper headline analysis. And Pony Akeze is here. Let's make welcome Pony Akeze. Good morning. Good to have you.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you doing today?
Morning.
Fine, my sister. Good morning.
You're welcome.
Okay, Lilibet will kickstart what we'll have. So, Lilibet, over to you.
Right, so let's take the story on the Punch newspaper. Consumers lament as food prices rise 30% in 8 states. And we have a photo speak of food items there. Delayed justice. Tinubu National Assembly demand judicial reforms. And on business, queues return as fuel scarcity hits Abuja and 5 states. 35 oil firms face probe over environmental pollution. Bag of rice cost importers $58 from India, says farmers. $824 billion resource-backed loans slowing Africa's growth. And that's according to the AFDB president. Okay, how I tried to stop Onokoya from playing chess, world record breaker's father. All right. Gombe residents lament for the 8 hours blackout. Lagos demolishes shops in Ajah Market, arrests 2 traders. Rainstorm, Ogun working with IBEDC to repair damaged electric poles. Teenager jailed 3 years for stealing water taps in Osun State. 2 men jailed for illegal importation of 1,570 guns. Okay. All right, so that's all on the Punch newspaper.
Okay, the Vanguard newspaper, the screaming headline there says, Ewu, Oklahoma, Ewu. Over 12 residents trapped in forest and die of hunger and sickness. There's one that says, lead British school victim Wala sues police and gives ultimatum for sanction. Ebonyi government plans to float airline. EFCC hands over 14 forfeited properties to Enugu State. In politics, this is coming from Governor Eno. We appreciate criticism not born out of mischief. We appreciate criticism not born out of mischief. Then Yahaya Bello, APC must publish code of conduct for party leaders, according to Salihu Lukman. Well, those are the stories we can take from Vanguard.
And on
Sorry,
leadership,
there's this one on subsidy removal. So, okay, it's from Lagos. Sanwo-Olu launches Eco Cares initiative for 500,000 household. The next paper, please.
leadership, the leadership paper has their story, sale of discourse. Experts, Labour want debt reading firms unbundled. Minister harps on AI to tackle insecurity in schools. Okay. Abia Varsity offers scholarship to 27 students. Registrars meet to elevate Nigerian universities' governance. Again, MultiChoice increases prices of DSTV, GoTV subscriptions. More foreign airlines lower Lagos-London route fares. Father arrested for impersonating son during JAM's UTME. Okay, so that's what. Okay, Governor Mutfwang urges Nigeria-US collaboration against insecurity. CNPF tackles Mafa over attack on Matawali. Akpabio says Eno is uniting Akwa Ibom across party lines. Care for the poor, Obi urges wealthy Nigerians. Stalemate over PDP reversed caretaker committee sparks fresh concern. Disquiet as PDP holds Ondo governorship primary today. Group alleges plots to demarket Tinubu in North. Okay, despite protests, Ayeditiwa unveils campaign office, urges unity. And finally, why we can't review Rivers caretaker committee list, says PDP. That's all on the leadership paper.
The next paper is the Daily Post, and the story making headline, the screaming headline says, Oshun teenager bagged 3 years jail for stealing water taps. Oshun, Oshun teenager bagged 3 years jail for stealing water taps. PDP risks lack bleak future as Wike can fight on. PDP risks bleak future as Wike can fight on. Okay, there is this one that says Naira falls to appreciate against dollar in forex market despite CBN intervention. Naira falls to appreciate against the dollar in forex market despite CBN intervention. We have this one, Kano Jigawa State top list of tobacco smoking in Nigeria, according to report. We also have this one that says, PWAN real estate, how to invest and make money. Okay, that's not our concern. Emir of Mina inaugurates 30-man committee to curb youth restiveness. Emir of Mina inaugurates 31-man committee to curb youth restiveness. ICPC calls for synergy between armed forces, paramilitary agencies in Nigeria. ICPC calls for synergy between armed forces and paramilitary agencies in Nigeria. That's a good one. So the next story, please.
Okay, our next paper is the Nation newspaper. Government opens Nigerians access to consumer credits with 100 billion naira. Telecom firms seek nod to raise tariffs. Tax defaulting politicians to be barred from contesting. EFCC returns recovered assets to Enugu government. El-Rufai probe, Kaduna Assembly seeks vital documents from Finance Ministry and MDAs. Abbas applauds Tinubu for takeoff. Nigeria's rapidly growing economy needs functional judiciary, and that story is credited to Tinubu. On Rivers crisis, 2 commissioners quit Fubara's cabinet. DSTV raises subscription rate. Federal government addressing outstanding varsity workers' demand, says Minister. Julius Berger gets federal government's marching order on Bodo Bonny Road. Tinubu renews commitment to empowering girls, women, and youth. Sanwo-Olu to stop land encroachers. Dangote gives rise to Muslims in Ondo State. And that's all on The Nation.
The Nation?
Yes, that's The Nation newspaper.
Okay, next we have, I think that's the last paper we are reviewing.
We have The Guardian newspaper next.
Okay, next. Okay, can take that.
Okay. All right, The
I
Guardian.
think you just took The Guardian. So what we should be taking now is
The
Nation.
Guardian is darkness imminent as vandals down transmission lines. Darkness imminent as vandals down transmission lines. Over 5,032 first-class graduates languish amid vacancies in universities. EFCC withdraws appeal against order restraining Yahaya Bello's arrests. Wow. Currency outside banks up by 300% as economy slips into cash hoarding. Reps summons Kyari, threatened to sanction oil companies. Tinubu Akpabio pledged justice sector reforms. Zulum urges establishment of military base in Sambisa Forest and Mandara Hills. Obi task rich Nigerians on water, education crisis. Kaduna Assembly begins probe of El-Rufai's administration. This probe. I won't support candidate over 52 years in 2027, Guba poll. Makinde tells PDP aspirants. UN canvasses $500 billion SDGs stimulus for developing countries. Wanted cultists, 20 others nabbed in Edo State. Consumer credit scheme takes off with civil servants. And on bullying, the victim threatens legal action, gives Abuja school for 8 hours to sanction perpetrators. And that's all we'll take on the Guardian newspaper.
I think we have left this day, right? We have this day. The headline there says, Tinubu says we need more functional justice system to protect the rights of all the citizens. We need more functional justice system to protect rights of all citizens. Aviation stakeholders call for collaboration to improve intra-regional connectivity. Aviation stakeholders call for collaboration to improve intra-regional connectivity. Tinubu OK's takeoff of consumer credit scheme for working class citizens. Tinubu OK's takeoff of consumer credit scheme for working class citizens. NCP considers BOA nasal measure and injection of fresh capital. Moghalu addresses 20 global investors on state of Nigeria economy. And there's this one that says Nigeria's treasury bills auction oversubscribed by 254.23%. FMBN to provide 100 billion naira for renewed Hope Cities and Estates scheme nationwide. Nigeria's brand now sellable to global community, says Abiodun. And that's all we're taking from the paper, The State.
Okay, let's look at Premium Times. I saw some interesting stories on Premium Times. NCAA suspends Dana Airline operations. Ondo releases delayed 2022 reports, plots path to profitability. Death in the water. Systematic failures fuel boat accidents along River Niger. Criticisms trail Nigerians' approval of GMO corn for planting. CAC revokes NIPOST subsidiaries certificate. 80 billion naira fraud charges. Court asks EFCC to serve Yahaya Bello through his lawyer. All right, that's all on the Premium Times.
And that's all we're taking. So we come back to Mr. Kazim is here for the analysis of some of the major headlines there from the story today, from the papers today, yeah? And we are keep starting with the ones from the Punch newspaper, and the screaming headline there says, just give me a moment, please. Well, Lilibet, you took that story. Please, can you bring that back to us on the Punch newspaper? Okay, consumers lament as food price rise 30% in 8 states. Consumers lament as food price rise to 30% in 8 states. Is it just 8 states or generally across the country?
Of course, the paper will be reporting maybe on where they got
the ones that are visible.
or not the visible, maybe the one that their reporter made some
research on,
do this carry out some survey. But African, of course, it is across the board in all the states. You know, we at the last time we were here, we talked about one of the headlines that people were complaining that in spite of the dollar, the naira gaining has appreciated somehow, but the prices are still
skyrocketing
high. And we said, yes, it is expected because there are so many other factors too that that contribute to the high costs of commodities. So it's not surprising. And again, if you look at also Nigeria, because most of the food, because this report is referring to food items, you know that we're into planting season, especially here in the southern part of the country, where we don't really do all year round. I mean, there is a particular time of the year that is the height of our farming operation. So so you are going to see insufficiency of
Okay.
some commodities in the market, and when there is a commodity is scarce, so many buyers chasing the few that's available, definitely it will also contribute to
Okay,
price
because this is
increase.
the planting season, so some of these products are being used for the farming session.
Okay,
now.
take for
For
example now.
example, corn, yam.
Take
and
for
all
example
that.
now. Take for example, when we mean the local supply, that is supply from our own environment, that is something commodity like yam.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, this is an off season,
Yeah.
so it depends for yams that are brought from the north, especially in the from the middle belt. If you see the cost of transportation, it will add to it, and of course, it will affect prices. So that is how it is for other commodities. That transportation factor,
Okay.
it will continue to affect prices because the cost of haulage is high.
It's not like the naira is not appreciating. It's actually appreciating, but what is causing the hike in food prices is the transportation.
It will be it's a
Transporting.
contributing factor. The off-season supply of some commodity too is also a factor. So there are multiple factors.
Even some of these farmers, they tell you they buy the fertilizers now, buy them at higher rates.
Yes, it is a
compared
cost.
to what they used to buy before.
Yes,
so those
it's-
things actually added.
Those
to
are
why-
inputs. They are the cost of inputs are high too.
Okay. There's a story that says why power sector prices won't end soon. And this one now is coming from electricity workers. Why power sector prices won't end soon. Now, there are strong indications that the power supply crisis plaguing the country may persist for a longer time as electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, and the generation companies, GENCOs, are battling with outdated, obsolete networks, inadequate maintenance of equipment, and dilapidated generation machinery, causing below optimal capacity utilization. Similarly, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has been weighed down by twin issues of technical and socio-political factors. Now, investigations reveal that the sector is suffering from low generating capacity, poor system maintenance, vandalism of electricity installations, ineffective enforcement of policies, surge in electricity demand, inadequate investment in transmission infrastructure, and technical losses, hindering the DISCOs from off-take loads from the TCN, that's the Transmission Company of Nigeria. So what is your take on this particular issue?
Yeah, you see the power issue in Nigeria has always been there. You see, when you have done the wrong thing for a very long time, you know, some people tend to take it as the norm. Nigeria did not get its power sector right for a long time. So look at a country like Nigeria, as vast as Nigeria in terms of land mass. We talked about the level of development, the power demand, the swelling population, and the need of industries. And we're still running a central grid system that you generate electricity from wherever it's generated, you transmit it to Oshobo, and Oshobo will start distributing it to other places. It cannot work. It cannot work. That kind of centralization, it cannot work. So we need to decentralize. And from what we are seeing from the DISCO, you know, when people come out and say, when people say privatization, private sector, businesses are run by public sector. You see, it is not about private sector or public sector. It is about management. It is about management. So if a public enterprise is mismanaged, is not running on efficiency, you will get the same result you will get. So you see that boggling delivery is inefficiency in terms of management. So if you look at the discourse, most of the people who took over the power distribution, you ask, do they really have the technical competence?
Capacity.
Yeah.
How did they get into the sector? What has been their track record in the sector? All those things. Can Nigerians really say, okay, let us take our own immediate environment. We are being serviced by the Benin Electricity Distribution Company. I think they have Edo, Delta, and Ekiti. Can we truly say that from that 2014 till now, that the service delivery in the sector has improved, or at least there was an improvement that made it better than when we were under PACN?
Okay.
I don't think so.
It instantly dwindles.
Right. So a lot of work still need to be done. A lot of work still need to be done. In everything, service delivery, government is the enabler. The government is the enabler. So the government still need to come out with some policies. Come out with some policies, some legislations that we open the place for real investment, that people who have the know-how, nobody is going to go into an investment area that he knows his investment will not be protected. Nobody, So let us look at what are the bottlenecks. But I think one of the things is to break this thing down. So that power generation and distribution should be properly deregulated.
Okay, deregulation is what
Yes, should be properly deregulated, that even local government can invest in their own power generation and distribution. And let us also look for other alternative sources. We have solar power, even though it is for only lighting. Let us and we live in the part of the world, the climatic belt of the world, where we have adequate sunshine all year round. So there is also windmill.
Yeah.
Yes, there's also even there's also biofuel.
She's asking the windmill, does it still work?
Why will it not work? It works in places. So there should be an we should have a technology incubation centers for these things. Our polytechnics and universities, and we have electrical engineering departments. They can do into research. The government should fund. There should be funding for this type of research in these areas. We are not a nation of research. Because it is through research that you come up. There should be an alignment between industry and academic institutions.
Okay.
Our universities and polytechnics, how many patents have we registered over the years as a result of researches coming from this institution? It is not about brandishing first class. And 10 years after, I read one report that said that Nigeria has the greatest number of PhD holders in the world. And I said, and so what? What has it translated into?
What have they done?
So it should not be just about, yes, it's a good one, it's a
How
great
has it
thing.
affected the lives of Nigerians?
Exactly.
Positively.
A PhD holder naturally should be a researcher. So after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years after your PhD, what next?
You're just bearing the name.
It's not
doctor.
just by bagging bagging the name,
the
PhD,
degree
you come out
and
and they tell you, oh, your PhD,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you feel
So
flat.
what
have you
impact
done?
have we used that
That is it.
doctorate, that degree to do?
So we have professors in all these fields. Where are their work? Is it just by writing in journals and publishing? Where are the research outputs? So we should emphasize on research because that is how you give the roadmap to solving problems.
Okay.
So that is our power sector. There's a lot of work
Work to be
to be
done
done.
there.
Exactly, because it's actually affecting homes, businesses, both the small, medium enterprises, and even the big businesses.
Of course,
And the companies are folding up because they can no longer be in business.
of course.
And it's affecting the common man because either they don't have access to these products or the prices would have to increase because these companies are paying very high for electricity consumption. Now, next story, please.
All right, so let's take this story on Yahaya's case. EFCC withdraws appeal against order
I was saying that
restraining
came out and
Yahaya.
so it was like,
Sorry. EFCC withdraws appeal against order restraining Yahaya Bello's arrest. That's on The Guardian. Then on Premium Times, it says 80 billion naira fraud charges. Court asks EFCC to serve Yahaya Bello through his lawyer.
So which one now is which?
No.
Okay, that was this one I just took now was the first they talked about, was what the court said, asking the EFCC to serve Yahaya Bello through his lawyer. But today now we are
That's
getting
the first story.
Yeah, that's the first story. Today now we're getting it that EFCC withdraws appeal against order restraining Yahaya Bello's arrest. Why the back and forth?
No,
Is it that-
I don't think it's back and forth.
Are some people above EFCC or above the law?
No, it's not above the law. You see, these are processes. The judiciary is a sector that deals with processes. It has its own bureaucratic processes. If you are talking of restraining of arrest and the
Withdrawal.
withdrawal of the order restraining
Restraining his
okay, there was a court that issued, maybe a lower court, high court issued the restraining order against EFCC, and EFCC appealed against that order, and then they withdraw. But you see the other one that says that court has given an order for them to serve. So if they have already gotten an order to serve him through his lawyer, they don't need that. They don't need to be battling against the other one that has restrained them, because which means the court that has said, okay, serve him through his lawyer. Of course, Yahaya Bello, one. They said in the law, it said an accused remains innocent until
Found
proven otherwise. As a governor, okay, ex-governor now, is one of our nation's VIPs. So EFCC will serve him, perhaps inviting him.
Yeah, the EFCC chairman said he did invite him.
So if they serve him,
denied he wasn't invited.
that is why now the court is saying, serve him that paper through his lawyer. So his lawyer, of course, he's a learned person when it comes to law and its processes. He knows what that means. And it will be honorable for him to go and, answer to honor the invitation.
Now with the fresh and
so I don't think it is a back and forth.
There was a withdrawal, yeah.
Yes, sir. If the court has given order permitting EFCC to serve him through his lawyer,
okay,
so there's no restraint again on EFCC.
Yeah.
Maybe the other issue will come if when he's invited and he refuses to honor the invitation.
Okay. So they're not following the legal process.
Of
now.
course.
Okay, it's not just the informal way. I called you didn't honor my invitation.
Yes.
And all that. Okay, fine. Good. Okay, this story says federal government to tackle poverty insecurity with national financial inclusion agenda. Now, high-level workshop. Okay, let's do the story. Federal government to tackle poverty, insecurity with national financial inclusion. I'm trying to see if I can get the body of that story. Okay, the presidency has hinted of plans by the federal government to tackle poverty and insecurity head on through financial inclusion for all Nigerians. Accordingly, it said there are high-level talks to unveil a roadmap to integrate the unbanked Nigerian population into the formal financial system. According to the presidency, this is one of the primes of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Okay, the Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan, emphasized the administration's commitment to an all-inclusive Nigeria under the renewed hope agenda. It further says economic and financial inclusion are essential components of President Tinubu's agenda to assist in integrating the underserved and unbanked into the formal financial system. Now, what I want to understand here is the unbanked Nigerians. I don't know if you understand what that means. I mean, what they're trying to do as far as that is concerned. So the headline is the federal government to tackle poverty and insecurity with national financial inclusion agenda. So
Yeah, you see bringing them. What is our financial system? You know, so when you are talking about, you said the underserved and the unbanked. Those normally, for government to be able to reach out to people, government is not going to go to your homes
Yes.
to give you like the social security, those
welfare
what they call it, those intervention
Programs.
funds, programs where people are paid. You need to have
Channels.
channels, and people need to have their bank accounts. So so they want to increase the number, bring let more of Nigerians be within the banking system, and have their bank accounts, so that reaching out to them, first of all, through bank accounts, the government will even be able to know, have accurate data. You know, have accurate, at least workable data about the population that is being covered. Because when you take money to the marketplace and tell people to line up, and you'll be ticking and okay, it could be that the people who collected here at Asaba, by the time the team moves to Ogwashuku, they
They
may
will go back
go
and
there
collect.
and collect, and you know. So, but when it is in the banking, I think we can say, this when you there's a bank schedule. When you pay, these are the number of people that will pay into. Tomorrow, if you want to cross-check to the record, UBA, for example, will say, okay, these were the number of people, you know, these are the number of beneficiaries of this program who bank with us. You know, even down to the microfinance banks and what they call these other banks. These are the online ones now, the Money
Yes.
Point,
Yeah.
OPay, and
Online bank.
so that with these channels, government will be, data is very, very crucial for planning.
Yes.
Yes.
So what the government has said is well, it is an intention. We hope that it works. Government will always, the primary decision of government is finding solution to societal problems. So it is we should look forward to it with enthusiasm, and also pray that it comes to fruition, that it does not run into some brick walls and suffer some. When the government that introduced subsidy on refined petroleum products meant well, but at the end of the day, the government came up and said it was grossly abused, and the government could not do anything about the abuse. The almighty government could not do anything about the abuse. This is unfortunate. So let us hope that these laudable initiatives will also not run into such a brick walls, and we'll be lamenting that the government meant so well with this financial inclusivity thing, but it was producing
headway.
billionaires overnight, portfolio billionaires overnight.
All right, let's take this story on the Guardian paper. Zulum urges establishment of military bases in Sambisa Forest and the Mandara Hills. Says the governor, Babagana Zulum of Borno State has urged the army to establish military formations in Sambisa Forest and the Mandara Hills, bordering Cameroon and Chad in the northeast to counter terrorism in the areas. Now, do you see this as a way of countering terrorism? Is it achievable to have bases in those areas? Because we tend to see that those areas are actually the most dangerous part. Yes, because we've had so many stories about that. You know, with this Sambisa Forest, when you hear of Sambisa Forest, you know what comes to your mind,
Of
you know?
course,
Everybody gets scared when Sambisa Forest is being mentioned, and now you're asking that the military should go map their bases in such areas. Do you see this?
Yeah, Baba Zulum is a governor
Yeah,
and chief executive officer of his state.
Yes.
He's a man in the arena, so he has seen it all. So he may be preferring his suggestion, his recommendation from a point from experience. But again, the armed forces of Nigeria is a big agency of government, and they have their own policies, they have their own direction. So I think government knows what to do. The defense and security experts knows whether there are things they put into consideration why establishing such facilities. So they know the best.
Okay.
Okay, let's. Okay,
Just
now
hope
the
that
story.
this works.
All right, let's start the story at saying that the president wants to give Nigerians succor by bringing in a 100 billion naira credit. I think government opens Nigerians access to consumer credit with 100 billion naira. Okay, the story is trying to open. Government opens Nigerians access to consumer credit with 100 billion naira. I think the story there says that they want Nigerians to be able to access items on credit level. Maybe if you have an account from which they can be doing a gradual withdrawal until you are able to complete the payment of whatever you have.
I'm thinking it starts with the civil servant.
Yes, it's starting with the civil servant. So what do you have to say in that regard?
Well, it's a welcome development. It's a plan, you know. So let's see it being rolled out and let's see how it works. Of course, like I said, the primary direction of government is to provide solution to societal problems. Over the years or in recent time, the citizens have cried out, facing severe hardship, and more and more people are pushed to live below poverty line, and you know the spiral effect of when greater part of the population are sliding into poverty. It has its own ripple effect over the country, and especially you cannot rule out criminality. You cannot rule out insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, and all forms of social vices. There's a connect between standard of living and, you know, the social well-being of a society. So no government will be insensitive. So if you look at the working people of Nigeria, especially people working, wage earners, because when we talk about working people, it
have
is
the private
about
sector.
everybody that is working to earn a living. So it must not be working people does not begin and end with wage earners. So that is why when we talk about labor,
Yes.
our mind, our attention goes only to what we call organized labor. Anybody who works and earn a living is within the labor bracket, the labor bracket. Whether you are working in the formal or informal sector. So if you go to like my friend Benga Komolafa, they have been doing a lot in organizing informal workers. We now have what we call the FINWON, the Federation of Informal Workers of Informal Worker Unions of Nigeria. So the way people earn their living, should be a great concern to the government. It's just like the way people have access to education, access to health.
Exactly.
Those things are fundamental services that where it is, wherever a nation is in terms of access to education, access to health, defines its level of development. It's not the development should not be measured on the big cars you see on the road and the mansions that you see in this.
One person is not going to
Left out.
Yeah, or
You know-
somebody
you know-
just
you know-
diverts the funds into something else.
In other clients, this is what
And
is
it's
actually
checkmate.
obtainable. So you are able to access items based on credit level, and gradually it's being deducted from your, for example, now the civil servants from their salaries. And those who are not civil servants, how do they actually get this done for them? Fine, it's going to start with the civil servants first, because I feel because they have a direct source
Yes.
from which they can deduct the monies. But when it gets to other persons, that category of Nigerians,
So yeah, you see that is where citizens groups matter. People can form cooperatives.
okay?
People can form associations. Like of course there are associations and clubs and this. So these are citizens groups. If they are well structured, in terms of organized and organized, so to say, there will be a formula with which government, institutions can deal with them. So it's all boiled down to, you see, I don't like pessimism.
Okay?
That this thing didn't work does not mean nothing else will work. Yes, we say the palliative, the distribution was not effective, so to say. Yes, we can learn from the lesson. But let's keep trying. Let's not always because this one they did before did not work.
So you just rely on
government
Not have that mindset.
government will always fail. No, society doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Let's always keep hope alive, and let us also be ready to try,
new things.
modify our approach to things and try it again, and somehow we'll be making improvement. So let us hope that yes, all these because all these are plans, their intentions. Let's hope that
I think it was one of the campaign promises of the president of the country,
Okay.
and we are seeing it come to play now. So let's see how it goes. We wish him well, because people are actually going to benefit from
Yeah, sure.
that program. So to say, thank you so much, Bonia Kisi, for coming
Thank you.
on
Thank you,
newspaper
Vivian.
headline analysis. This beautiful testimony on test edition of Morning Ride. Let me tell you, we have a lot for you. It's been a pleasure. We have more coming your way. Please go nowhere. Thursday morning ride on Delta Television, the People's Pride. Right now, we have next guest. He will be talking to us about issues concerning the transport sector in Delta State. And of course, another interesting matter, especially when it comes to the less privileged, so to say. It has to do with the palliatives distribution in our state. Our guest is no other than Honorable Olorogun Jauro Egbo, Special Advisor to the Governor on Transport and Coordinator, Subsidy Palliatives Committee, Delta State. Please join us in welcoming our guest. Welcome to us here. Good to have you.
Thank you.
I've been chasing him, and now he's here. Good to see you, sir.
Good morning, Dentals.
Okay. First of all, let's look at the transport sector in Delta State. As Special Advisor to the Governor in this area, how does your office function?
Well, my office, as far as the transport sector is concerned, is advisory. We work hand in hand with the Honorable Commissioner for Transport, Honorable Lorida Godfrey.
Okay.
We ensure, we work in synergy to ensure that as much as possible that the transport sector in Delta State is well managed and up and running. Of course, recently we are looking to the marine transport aspect,
okay.
And then the governor is interested in easing the transport problem in Delta, and the way to go about it is that we have proposals for electric buses, CNG buses, as the natural gas buses. So based on this, we just had a trip to China.
Yes.
Of course, I'm part of that trip.
Yes.
To see how we can bring in those gas-powered buses to Delta State. Way that we bring them in and then we give to Deltas at a subsidized rate. We have already written the report to the governor. We present the report. Once we present the report, we expect that the governor will take the final decision on it. So Deltas will be hopeful that by this time next year, we should have those buses around for to ease transportation costs, most especially transportation costs, intra-city and then inter-city, within the cities. And our plan is that we will start the pilot run from us in Asabaye and Warri Efunazis before we now extend to other parts of the state.
Okay.
Then we have also have the Teen City and then maybe Asawa to Warri, Asawa to Agbo, Asawa to Udili, those areas. Those are our plans, and hopefully we think it will take off.
Okay,
And,
that particular journey I'm aware of. And some persons this vehicles will run, would they be sustained? Are they sustainable?
of course, they are.
And at subsidized rate as well.
Incidentally, let us sit on top the highest gas reserve in the country. And then we already have a factory here in Ebede, close to Ubiaruku in Nukwane. It's called Power Gas.
Okay.
Now, the plan is for us to have all these gas stations in all these filling stations. We'll have them there so that when we bring in the buses, they can fill. We're already talking to this filling station owners, because the gas station doesn't need to be very big. It can occupy a small place.
Okay.
So that when you run in there, you just top your gas. It's not just even buses. We're also looking at keke that will be powered by gas, because it's far cheaper, cleaner for our environment, and they are sustainable. In Edo State has gone far. Edo State is converted, but we want to bring them anew where we are running. So we're already in talk with Power Gas in Ebede, close to Kwane, Biaruku. In our own state, it's not like we're importing it from somewhere else. And then all we need to do now is to get these stations across the state. For instance,
So the local governments that make up the state, you're going to have the gas stations.
Of course, yes. There will be a starting point. We start with Asaba, Warri, and Agbo Houses for
the major
major
areas.
areas.
Okay.
So as time goes on, we expand.
Okay.
So that if we run it for like 12 months, we would have had enough for everybody. Because if you are going from, take for instance, you are using a gas bus from here to Warri or Ugeli, you should have somewhere in between where you can fill it.
Fill it, okay.
Maybe Kwale,
Okay.
you put in Asaba, you put in Kwale, you put in Ugeli, you put in Warri, you put in Saple, you put in Koko,
Okay.
or Ethiopia West, or Gara. Then this as is, it's okay. You put in what you have here in Asaba, you can have in Iseloku, you have in Agbo, you have in Owa.
Okay.
That way, those are the way they are all planned, well planned
Already.
that, and it doesn't need a rocket science to do that. You just bring in the station just like a small container by any of these existing filling stations, just like the way they feed gas. You bring in the plant and then you bring your nozzles. Those are all. If this one takes off very well, before we talk about electric vehicles, the electric vehicle is not now. We'll start with this
The CNG.
CNG before we move into electric vehicles. So it's not about the electric vehicle. Our mainstay now is to ensure that we have gas powered vehicles to reduce the cost of transportation. Because when people talk of palliative, they think it's just about food. It is not just about
there are
food.
other areas.
The other areas the
palliatives.
government is looking at. We started with when of course you know this palliative started to gain start when the president was sworn in and it said there was no
Subsidy on fuel
subsidy,
anymore.
there was no subsidy provision in the constitution, and of course the next day everything just in Nigeria to bring about this wage award. We pay 3 months 10,000. That one is palliative too.
Yes.
Pay to workers. We still felt that was not enough. The governor said that was not enough. We should sit down with our workers. So from level 14 down, there are days you go to work to ease the transportation too. That is also palliative.
Yes.
We went further. We felt that the people who are getting this is so difficult are some of our pensioners. We were giving the governor is also has approved 500 million monthly for payment of pensioners. Then we looked at the areas
Sorry, I'm interested in this pensioners issue. Is it going to be through their bank account?
Of course,
do
they
receive
you know
their pensions?
there are two sets of pensioners we have in data.
Yeah.
The ones that were not captured
Okay.
before these insurance people came on board, these pension people came on board. But those ones that were captured, you collect through your pension manager.
Okay.
So those ones that were not captured were the ones that were taking care of that. But the ones that were mostly affected were those that belongs to the local government, the primary school teachers and the local government workers who were owed for some 3-4 years before now. But because of this part of palliative, the governor was able to guarantee loan for the local government to pay all these pensioners. And since then, it's been a very good story for them. They'll be collecting money, collecting their pension without stress. Once it is verified, they are being paid. So those are the things, some of the safety valves that the governor put in place to ensure that it is the hardship that was that the subsidy, removal of the subsidy cost to Deltans. So that is part of it. Now you come to
Sorry, before you go further, I want to ask a question on this CNG vehicle that is going to be imported. Is it just for the tricycles and the buses? What about private vehicles? Do we have that in view as well?
We do have CNG cars, but the major thing that the government is more interested in is how do we ease transportation
For the people.
Because we know that if you ask our traders, why are you selling Gary for 3,000 naira? It's not that you are buying with dollars. He said the transport is so high.
Okay.
So before now, before Dangote came off scene, this was as expensive as 1,800. But I read yesterday that it's now 980 or something.
Yes.
So it was the governor does not his major interest that how do Deltans feel less pain about food, about transportation. So others can bring in their private vehicles, but we are more interested in moving people around, moving goods and goods from the farm to marketplace, and then ease transportation for those who are doing business or who are moving around states. So, but of course, there will be private vehicles, but we are less concerned with social. The major ones is how do we move our people how do we move our goods. That is our priority for now.
Okay, now this has to do more with the land transport system. What about the marine transportation?
Of course, we're looking into that too.
Okay, so what are the things you're doing?
You know, the marine aspect is that we found out that the transportation with the marine is very, very expensive. But then there are several communities that have so much food production there, but moving them out is very
Exactly,
difficult.
it's a problem.
That is why the government now is doing so much road and so much infrastructure at the riverine area. For instance, if you go to Ogelisat, there is a bridge that they are connecting to connect those over 40 communities. So that if you can do that bridge and you complete it now, the issue of using marine will be out of it, because you cannot move the bed, you can move things out.
Okay.
But we're also looking at these outboards. These outboards, you see all those Yamaha outboards. We've already reached into them whether they can produce the ones that we use as CNG gases. But for now, they've not done that. They said they are looking into it.
Okay.
So by the time they bring that out, of course we'll use the same CNG for those vehicles.
Okay. Now, you have a question on that area? Okay, okay,
Now,
fine. Go further.
before the implementation of this CNG vehicles that are going to be coming in pretty soon, we hope. Now, have you any policy to regulate the cost of transportation in Delta State? Because when you go to some areas, you see the transport, the fare actually varies. Now, do you have any policy intact, or are you looking into starting any policy that will help regulate? At least we need
Having
to
a
regulate.
uniform.
Regulate
You see,
the cost of transportation.
In Nigeria, we run a capitalist economy. The best way to regulate the price of transportation is when you provide alternative.
Okay.
If, for instance, you ABC transport takes 10,000 naira to Warri, and then you provide vehicles to people who are taking 3,000, you've already started regulating it, because of course people will come to where you are taking 3,000 instead of 7,000. But if you don't have alternative, it is quite difficult to regulate it, because you say we buy expensive fuel, we buy diesel, we buy expensive parts. But the best way to regulate it is that when you provide alternative to what those people are offering, better alternative. If we have those buses here, for instance, we bring in buses and then we give to people with the understanding that, well, we want you to take Warri to Asaba for 4,000 naira, because this is money will return to us. That is the only regulation I think that will work. But if anybody goes in there to go and buy his own vehicle and is doing his own business, if you don't give that person alternative, you cannot say you must take 2,000 naira when the person says I'm taking 4,000. But when you provide your vehicle to them, those are the areas we can. That's why we are bringing in our buses.
But you know why I asked that question? Because you know this in-transport system, like you want to board a vehicle, let's say from Opanam to Coca, there's a tag on almost every buses.
Yeah.
They tell you from
here
this
to here,
angle
this
to
amount.
this angle is this amount, and you have to stick to that.
And
anyone that goes above will be sanctioned by their, I don't know, their group or something. Their union, yes. And you don't go below, except maybe kind-heartedly you want to just do for that person, but you don't go above. That's the kind of regulation we are talking about.
Yes. You know that we are saying the same thing. You can only enforce such regulations if you are a key player in that sector. For instance, the keke. If you look somewhere, there is a keke factory across that the government attracted to Stalon factory. The ones they brought, we said we wouldn't let the CNG keke. Now, if we are going to sell out, if we are going to give out those keke, it's not like it's going to be free of charge to the operators. But we're going to give it to them at a subsidized rate, with the understanding that you can't go beyond this. If you agree to our condition, okay, we'll give you will sign on. Those are the ones that you can easily regulate. And by the time you flood the market with such keke, every price, you collapse every price. But if in the absence of that, where the people struggle to get their own. Sometimes on this keke, they buy it on higher purchase at very high prices.
Yes.
They
yes.
can, some people, I understand some people do times 3, times 2. For keke that you buy for around 950 to 1 million, you'll be asked to pay balance 3 million naira. So you don't expect somebody like that who is under such excruciating
Pressure.
pain and pressure to say you must take this amount. But if you are offering that same keke that is going to pay 3 million for like 700,000,
Okay.
then of course there are conditions that you must attach to such keke.
Provision.
And said, okay, you will say, well, we know this keke is supposed to be 1 million. We're going to give you for 700. We balance this amount to this institution. But if you are this in our routes,
Applying.
you must apply this route for this X amount. If you fail, we will take our keke back. Of course, you will see that one will work. So that is why we are saying that we are going to work out something where we ensure that our people get fair deal. That is the essence of why we are going to participate in this transport. That's why we are bringing vehicles that will give to transporters, but at a price that is controlled, so that it will affect their transport positively when they move about.
Please, when these vehicles are coming, we need to have the signs. We need to know which is CNG and which is, so that we know the ones to drive.
But of course, they are
There should be a difference,
yes,
to
they are going to
differentiate
be-
them.
I'm sure they are going to be branded, well branded
Okay.
vehicles. So
CNG
that when you see
buses.
them, you know that this is more buses and
Yes,
just like
exactly.
that. You just see them, you don't know that these are
These are
buses,
special vehicles.
special vehicles, because they are going to be moving around everywhere, and then of course it is also something that will be hidden, and even their prices alone you will know,
You
and they are going to provide special packs for them,
So
special
parts
bus
for them,
stops where it's okay. For we are going to, they are already well planned.
Okay.
If it's moving from say Abraka, there are routes where you will stay and then you or pick up. It's not just we'll be going like other.
That's for the
normal ones,
buses,
for the
not
buses.
for the tricycle.
The tricycle, of
Tricycle
course.
can pick any passenger they
Anybody?
see anywhere.
Yes, but they also will be well branded,
Branded,
and then they
fine.
will be. We ensure that the operators are well marked out. They will be well uniform for easy identification and for security,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they will also be well numbered. So when you enter Keke and you forgot something, so where the Keke I entered was
Exactly.
this.
Okay,
That's
better.
a good one.
So you can just
Better.
press and know who, where you forgot something or where you were attacked or something happened to you. That is going to be easy for identification.
Or we can go
That
to their
way.
office to even get the
Yes.
things.
Things,
Yes, you can get there. So it's going to be properly
So well
organized. It's because we
coordinated.
don't have all these things in place. That's why you see some of these incidents to happen. But even now, we're already tagging our kekes. We're already numbering them. But by the time we bring in our own, it will be more coordinated.
Okay, you mentioned parts. So how available are the parts going to be in these vehicles when they come?
We you know, before now we have when we were operating a data line, we used to have different parts before we gave data line out. So some of those parts are not being used now. We'll revive them. You remember we used to have lower buses and lower parts
Yes.
in all our community, our major communities. Those ones is no longer running now, so we are going to take over some of those places and rebrand them for the ones we are bringing on board. So that won't be issue. Then we'll create new ones because of the new increase of some areas where that have now have high population of people,
Exactly.
concentrations. So of course areas where we have laid back, we'll create small parks
Okay.
for when it takes off eventually. We're already working on that with the Ministry of Urban Planning.
Oh,
So
so they have their own role there to play
yes,
as
we
far
have
as this
them.
plan
So
is
of course,
concerned.
yes, they
Okay.
must. We have to do it in a way that we are not violating the master plan of the city.
Yes.
So that is why the urban, and you remember that he also traveled with us.
Yes, it was
The
part of the
commissioner
journey.
was part of
Yeah,
the trip
yes.
because the commissioner was part of the trip. Science and technology was part of the trip. But most of the things we did there is not. They will be automated. Of course, you will have more traffic light. We have a kind of small BRT line that has to do with technology. They will do many cameras too, many
Yeah,
security
definitely.
cameras.
You need that.
Because we know that the issues we have in Asaba here with all these artisans that are coming into town,
From different parts of the
and they are
country.
always very unruly.
Yes.
So now we started by documenting them. So by the time this thing fully takes off, there will be camera everywhere, powered by solar, not by light, by
Fine.
On the streets.
on the street.
Okay.
If you yesterday, I got a call that there was a huge fight at that Coca Junction. About these these operators of buses and all that.
They're always
So
fighting.
if you have all this camera, you just from your office, you can just see what
view, yes.
every time you can see what is going on there. You can picture the people and then you can order their arrest. That way will reduce the incident of robbery, kidnapping, and all that. So it's a full package that the government wants. You want data to be very safe. When you move in there, you will be seen. When you are entering any vehicle, they will know, to a very large extent, we work with the security agencies to ensure that people don't just do what they think they want to do with that and get away with it.
Okay.
So those are the things. That is why we had the transport. We went to the transport, science and technology,
The
urban regional planning, so that everything can work in sync for the betterment of Delta.
Wow, I'm really excited about this project. It's
Yes.
really going to help curb insecurity
Yes.
a lot.
Exactly. Now, let's come to the spare parts for this special vehicle you are bringing in. How available are they going to be?
Well,
In case of breakdowns, maintenance, and all of that.
we went to 3 factories in China,
Okay?
and that the first insistence is that if I'm going to get your vehicle, then we must have a workshop here.
Okay.
One of the conditions is that when we bring in the vehicles, you bring workshop, and then we train our people for
Okay.
a particular time, so that after some time our people can
Take over.
take over. And if you see one of the programs is being run now that they just want to start now from Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, they are training mechanics, plumbers, bricklayers, and all that.
Yes, yes.
So we think that by the time we bring in there, this program will now bring mechanics, our young men, to go there and learn. Then we also have a workshop. We have spare parts, offices where we can get the spare parts, easily get the spare parts. Because, for instance, now you can't bring in a car from China. As far as from China, then maybe you lose your headlight and then you pack the headlight. There's nowhere to buy. Nobody will do that. So those are the things we insisted on in our condition, that if we must go ahead, you must provide all these
Spare parts.
workshops, spare
Okay.
parts,
Training
easily
for
available
those who can
for
handle them.
those who can, so that who can do that. Then train our people on repairs and all that, maintenance. Well, once you don't have that maintenance
It will be an issue.
issue, because it becomes by the time the car breaks down, maybe 1 year, 2 years, then
They'll be off the road.
those are the mistakes some of the past vehicles we brought in. They did not insist on that. But of course, the governor is a shrewd businessman too. So he listed all those things for us. Would
You
they have
must
spare parts?
Make sure.
Will they have a workshop here? Will they train our people? Those are the terms of reference that we discuss with the Chinese counterpart.
Okay.
And of course, they considered to some of these issues. And then we are very sure that by the time we take off, it's going to be a whole package.
I wish some of these critics actually knew about this. They wouldn't have gone into criticizing your journey and, of course, your intentions. That's why it's good for us to have you come to talk to these people. Let them
Clear
know
the
your
air.
exact intention so that
Of
they
course, it's
will.
true. I think I just learned this experience that no matter how good intention you are in governance, you must let the people know. There's a saying amongst us, the rural people, that if you are roasting yam for the blind man, you must be blowing the whistle so that he knows that you are not
You are
eating
not
the
eating
yam.
out of the yam.
So, and that means that we must tell everybody.
Exactly.
I appeared in a radio program yesterday, and 80% of people said that we don't know that they were sharing palliative. This is the first time we're hearing about it. And the governor
Welcome
was
to
very,
that, yes.
the governor was very, said that if we share this, we must let people know. So he insisted that if we want to share this round, if we are sharing today, we are going to share it tomorrow, we should let the people know we are going to Ogwashuku. At this point, these are your coordinators, this is their phone numbers. If you don't get your palliative, call
Hold
this
them
number.
responsible.
This is the man responsible. That way, if we are going to Ogeli North, we say, okay, this is the man that is responsible for it. By so time, we'll bring 10 trucks at this point. They will move from this point to this point at this point. So we'll make it more wholesome. Those are the mistakes we made in that last distribution, but we'll move now to correct those ones. So that it won't be that we'll put a light and then we'll cover it with the blanket. So like other states are doing that, they will share less, we are sharing more, but It's like they are giving too much publicity to their own.
Are we not
Are we not
qualified?
suffering the impacts of
Three
the
of us are not qualified for the palliative.
Why?
Let me explain to you.
Yes.
When we got the first, we got around 50 trucks. The governor said it is for vulnerable persons. And I'm sure 3 of us are not vulnerable because we are gainfully employed. It is for those who are in the village or who are in motherless BBO and who are there, who are in the lower rung of the society that needed the most. So that, and that is why we gave, even when we had the maize, all the pressure was on governor and the SSG, who is my chairman, that we should give them maize. We said no, it is for the small time farmers who can't afford to feed their chicken, who can't afford to feed their poultry, their pigs and fish.
Yes.
So we target those small time farmers.
Okay.
So we refuse to give to factory the big time holders who will crush it. So most of these palliatives are not for us.
Okay, now you're saying most of these palliatives are not for us. What kind of palliatives now do you map out for us? Because the economy is still biting hard on us.
It's biting on
You see,
so what about those that are working?
you see how it favors you that Toshiki farmers were giving them maize
Okay.
to reduce the cost of production. To the extent that even the Poultry Association of Nigeria just pledged 500 crates of eggs. They are going to give the committee 500 crates of eggs.
Wow.
We are targeting motherless baby orphanages and all these vulnerable homes to give the 5. When we are giving the rice, we give to them. Now, if you will buy egg, for instance, you will buy egg for a crate for like 5,000, and then maybe because of the free maize, the thing comes to 3,500. You have gained from the palliatives. So it is not about. There are some persons that are already had
Yes, I know.
by this economic situation that is what the government is targeting. But we have Gary. You don't need free Gary. But there are some persons who can't even eat. They can't afford Gary. And Gary is our staple. If a man can't afford Gary, then what will we affect? What can you now do? So those are the people who are targeting. Those are the people who are targeting. You already had 3 months wage benefit for whatever it is. You have that. You don't come to work 5 days a week anymore. You come to work 3 times.
But no,
you save money.
here
Those are things that governor do. But the governor is doing all that. Some of you are getting your promotion very frequently. Those are some of the palliatives that the governor is looking out for. Your pensioners are being paid.
Okay. So based on that, we are not
we're also
qualified for rice and
employing.
beans.
No, we are not. I'm not even qualified. We're not qualified. That is the condition they gave to us, that it must be those who can't afford it.
Don't worry, swap no more. We'll go to his house and collect. But he has a lot.
Okay, now, in getting these palliatives to the people, how do you actually identify those who really need them to ensure that there's no hanky-panky played around?
Now, if you look at the way we operated, the chairman of my committee is the SSG, Dr. Chris Lemo. We picked people. The governor was very insistent that this is not about PDP, it's not about APC. It belongs to debtors that are suffering as a result
So
of
it's not
this,
a party affair?
It's not a party affair. I have a list of all my coordinators here. For instance, they are here. They are state coordinators. In a national, for instance, you have Barrister Andrew Doom, is a senior advocate of Nigeria. You have Kester Ifedi for the other local government. For take instance, for Ikanot is Bishop Ekpenusi, the Bishop of Anglican Diocese.
Okay.
In my local government, well enough, is Professor Awefada. In Ukwane is a venerable. In Oshimili South, you have Dr. Honorable Bridget Ayanfulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, those are the kind of persons that we entrusted the work onto. People who has nothing to do with PDP or APC. Okay. People who know that are respected in their various, for instance, Venerable Emeni for Ukwane, for Ogeli South, we have Reverend Father Ekabo of the Catholic Church.
Right.
So those are persons we know that once we get the political girls to them, they will move it to the LGA. And who are the LGA people? They used to be, you have the committee president generals, the CAN representative, the CSO members, the community leadership. That is at the ward. Then when it comes to the unit, for instance, my village, which is Ugwere, once it gets to LGA, goes to my ward and comes to Ugwere, In Oduwere there, we know those who can't feed. We know the widows there.
Okay.
We know the old people who are vulnerable. Because it's about the women, the women leader is there, the committee chairman is there, the youth leader is there. Okay, who are the persons in this place that is finding it difficult to feed? Those are the people they will bring. If they say widow and you have husband, they won't give to you. Unless you already tag yourself a widow. So
Exactly.
knowing the poor people there is very easy. And then we also have, to back up, we have this Soko register that we're also using. This, you know, Delta State is known for widow alert.
Yes.
We're also using that list.
Okay.
That list of widows alert, we know those. Even we're even upgrading it. We're updating it to ensure that widows, so that the persons that we think that need this palliative. So the people who are saying that there's no palliative, they don't know that they are not qualified in the first place. So they think they will come and give to them. You have 3 shops, you have 2 cars, you are expecting palliative for government. No, it is not for you.
Okay.
So we need to tell the public that this palliative is not for everybody. There are particular members of the society that are qualified for this palliative. I am not qualified, my wife is not qualified, none of my relations is qualified. Because I am already been engaged in government. So of course when I get salary I give to my wife and I also send it to my relation. But there are some people out there who have nothing to show. Paying rent is very difficult. Getting money for their kids are very difficult. Those are the people we target. So when we take them to the community, the headmaster in my community is a member of the unit committees. He knows there are some children that don't come to school because they can't eat, they can't feed. Those we got lists from them. So those are the people that we send all these things to, so that they can eat and go to school. Because of course you know the feeding program is no longer there.
Yeah.
When it was there, I remember in my own place, there was high increase in the number of students that were coming to school. But since they stopped this thing, they can't feed and they don't come to work, they don't come to school.
Yeah.
So those are the people that we're targeting. But the elite who believe that palliative is for everybody are the ones that are saying that we have not seen anything. No, it is not for you.
Okay. Now you said some people were complaining that they are not even aware of palliatives. They are not aware that they share palliatives. And also, let's take this program, for example, that Ms. Oroje is actually handling the plumbing and the handwork. That's a form of palliative as well for them. Now, some persons did not hear about it, like my area, because people know I work with PS. They always come to me and tell me, "Have you heard of any palliative? Is anything going on? What is the in thing now?" You know, and I get to feed them. Now, these are the people that, because they have access to me, they could get such information.
Exactly.
What about those in the rural area that cannot get this information and they would like to? Let's take this plumbing and carpentry, for example. I know some persons who want to get involved in it, but they have not heard. And not everybody have access to radio and television. So what other modalities are you trying to put in place to make sure that people in the rural area who don't have access to any means of information can get the idea that, oh, something like this is going on and I need to benefit from it?
I think it's also I think in our last sharing, I am first to consider that we did give them no publicity, like as I said earlier, and now we are going to be keeping the public informed. But do you know that every community in Delta, no matter how remote it is, has a councillor, has somebody in government at the local level? When they brought this form, this form for this plumbing and all that, they checked to all the local governments with specific instruction that it must go to all the wards. When we were doing our own palliatives, there was an argument that we use the federal ward. Because the federal ward is uneven. It cannot, for instance, has 14, Ughelli North has 11 and all that. But the SNG said no, we need deep penetration. So we adopted the DCEC ward. Because with the DCEC ward, every local government in Delta has 20 wards. Whether you are big, whether you are Patani, whether you are Ughelli North, whether you are Warri North. That way, we're able to ensure that it gets down to the there's deep penetration of the grassroots. For instance, take instance, when we were about to share to Brutu, that was when I knew that Brutu has about the most difficult terrain and there's Brutu North and Brutu South. All the other hand, if you want to go to some part of Burutu, you go to Okwagbe. But if you want to go to another side, you go to Warri South. So we took our time and then we treated those areas. Especially, we provided fund for to take them to with boat, and it was quite quite expensive. But we were insistent that they must get to everybody. So I think what we need to do is we need to do more publicity. It's not just about radio. What we did that time, we captured tank criers.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
We need to come to that.
Where they want to share, we instruct the community leadership that we announce around, get the list. Because we also do verification as well. When they are sharing, we'll do monitoring to ensure that the thing gets to the people. But I think what we cannot deny is that we need more publicity. Data need to know those who are qualified and how the thing is being shared. And that's what the government said. That's why, and I'm sure that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, so when is the next palliative sharing going to be?
We are looking, as I speak to you, we just got 10 trucks of Gary that just landed this night. And we see expecting another 20 trucks. We already have like 30 trucks of rice. So we think that by this next week, we would have arrived at, we have gotten all we are expecting if everything works well. So that I think that by first week of
May
we will start sharing. But before then, I'm sure I will keep you posted. I will keep data posted as to how we are sharing it and the movement. If we are moving to FGA, we'll let you know. If we are moving to the world, we'll let you know. And so that people who are supposed to benefit from this palliative, they do benefit. But the state government is paying so much.
Exactly.
The government is paying so much to bring this here. If I tell you the amount of money we paid to bring this Gary from the north and the maize, it's not something. But there's another thing the governor did. The governor believed that no matter the level of palliative we are sharing, we are bringing from the federal, that won't be enough. That is just like a handout. Now what we needed to do is to ensure that why do we need to bring rice from Bombay or somewhere that we can produce our own here.
Yes.
So what is working on that, I'm sure you know about this Abo Gwashi Agro-Light Park, close to Ogwashuku there.
Yes.
We are working ferociously on there so that we can get rice paddy and produce our own rice. That way we buy rice from our rice paddy from our farmers, our local farmers,
Empower them as well.
and then produce and sell to our own people. That way you're empowering the people. It's another palliative. It's, as a matter of fact, it's the actual palliative.
Yes.
You also are aware that the governor raised 2 billion naira for rice farming so that we can feed this Abogwashi rice mill. We have our own data rice and all that. Then we're doing something in tomatoes as well. We have started in Imbiri, we have in Pakiama, we have in Alviara. Those are things. Then we want to produce cassava because we believe that without Gary, we cannot run in this state. It's our major
You
state.
can do a lot with cassava.
And so there are a lot of things we are doing with cassava. So those are the things that the governor believes that is the actual palliatives
Yes.
that can sustain us, because we have a saying that whatever they give to you won't get you full until you produce your own.
That's
So those are the
sustaining.
long-term
Yes.
palliatives. Apart from this one, they just give you after 3 days it's over.
It's over.
So
What
it is-
happens next? Yes.
The governor wants everybody to go back to the farm. If you have 2 extra days, you are not coming to work. Have small tomatoes farm close to your backyard. Grow your own vegetable. Do your small fish pond around. That is what that self-subsistent farming was what our parents were doing in those days. Apart from industrial, why should you now everything? You must you buy everything? You buy vegetable, you buy pepper. You can do them. So this you can do fish. You can do 10 chicken, 20, and all that. That way to reduce the hunger. So our people must know, they must sit up. This palliative is not something that is sustainable in any way in the world.
Yeah, but
That is why it's
places-
called palliative in any way. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like a sweetener to our survival. It's not the main thing. The main thing is for us to go back to farm. And the government is very insistent on that.
Okay. If you're encouraging us now, like individuals who have like a little space at the back of their houses to plant 1 or 2 things, are there places we can go to get, people can actually go, not we, people can actually go to get crops, you know, like
Yeah,
cassava.
of course, we have DAPA.
Offices
DAPA
can
is
they
there.
go to?
Yeah. Now, the next stage of palliative is fertilizers.
Okay.
We're expecting fertilizers. And we're also targeting those small-time farmers who have maybe 100 by 50 plot of cassava,
Yes.
so that to boost their production. What we're encouraging them to do is that come with association. We can't expect all debtors to queue to come and collect. For instance, if you are from Ogwashuku, you should have a cassava producer association, the plant farmers association. We'll come and verify. Then if we want to hand over we'll hand over to you. That way, we won't have cassava farmers who are just online farmers taking our fertilizers and then now going to sell it to those who are not supposed to be getting it. So we're encouraging our farmers to do associations that are verishables, real farmers that we can deal with. So why we're encouraging, that is why we're giving to, it is those people who are targeted, that's why we're giving maize to them to help in their food stuff. Well, Gary and rice, of course, that is for those who can really help themselves. Those are our target audience.
Okay. Now, do you have people who can partner, who are partnering with the government to, ameliorate the plight as it is now? Maybe people say, okay, I'm helping you with maybe a trailer load of rice. I'm helping you with a trailer load of Indomie noodles, so to say.
Yes, of course. But I just told you that the Poultry Association of Nigeria,
500,
they just
crates,
pledged 500 crates of eggs.
Yes, yes.
From the maize we gave to them because they said, well, it helped their production. So we also believe that.
Because you helped them.
Yeah, because we give them maize.
Yeah. What of people you didn't help? Individuals.
Yes, of course there are some corporate bodies that does all this and all that. But now that we are getting all of this, we also telling them to bring banks and all that.
Yes. The government cannot do it.
Yes, but why we were not pursuing them is that I also belong to the flood committee. Last time we already written out letters to them.
Okay.
But somehow got intervened and the flood wasn't there the way we were expecting it, apart from part of Shibisa and all that, you know. But the warning has started coming in again. There will be flood. So those areas we don't want to overtap them. We want to keep it for where we have such natural disasters, and then we meet them, these banks and so forth. Come and assist us. Though government carry the bulk of it. So that is why we didn't use them. We kept, we just hold on till now that we don't have flood. We don't want to finish our goodwill. So all there are debtors, there are persons, there are corporate and individuals who really want to help, but we don't want to just abuse that privilege. We don't want to abuse the privilege.
All right. Now transporting palliatives to riverine areas, to the interiors. How do you actually do that? Well, it could be cumbersome.
Very, very cumbersome.
Yeah. So what do you do? How do you surmount those challenges?
When we did the last one, for instance, we gave a specific amount for local government that are upland, but we also give a special consideration to areas that are riverine. And the most cumbersome areas in Delta is Burutu, Warri North, Warri South. No, Warri Southwest. Warri South is some few areas, rather to Bodo, Big Warri. But when you talk about all those Shekelewu, all those areas, and just at the fringe of the Atlantic Ocean. Then you talk of Burutu,
I was privileged to go there during the campaign period, so I know about the story.
So you will be surprised that the rise of like 1 million to 2 million naira, the cost of transporting can cost you as much as 3 million to get them there. But government said that everybody must get. So we were not faced by the transport. We provided speedboats. First, what we did was that we had this big boat, they call it Kwekwe, this big boat to transport them to a particular point. Then we got those speedboats to take them to those communities. And it was we got assurance, the feedback we got that everybody got theirs. So, it's expensive, but
they have to do the
we just have to do it.
Okay. You've actually spoken extensively on these issues, the transport sector, and of course the sharing of palliatives for the less privileged, like you did say. You know, it's not for everyone. There are categories of persons these palliatives are meant for. And you have also assured us that you are going to engage in more publicity this time around to ensure that people come out to access these palliatives. Now, are there other plans you have as far as the palliative is concerned?
And the palliative, people don't understand the palliative, the way they guide this palliative. As if you are getting CBN. As I speak to
That's
you,
another issue.
the EFCC, they are here. The ICPC, the DSS, the police, what do they call them, the civil defense corps. They all report to the head office who compile this report and report to NSA, because the program is headed by the National Security Advisor. So before you move anything out there, they must write report. This morning they told me that I needed to meet with all those people. They are there, testing them. We are going to later today to inspect the Osubi warehouse. They will be there, they will certify. They sign all
they
forms.
sign, yes.
Because it's coming from federal. That is why the NSA is handling it. So it's not like we'll just go there and give
pitch
to
them.
this. When we make up our list, we'll share it with them. They will forward it back to their head office. They will come back, there will be approval before it is shared. And if there's no way you are going to have pick one and then the five, all the security agencies will give the same report. Somebody must report that the ones we did. If we have not done the first one, then there are some states that have been blacklisted. But we did our own, we got a good report, that is why we are still getting it. So we ensure that it gets to the people. They report back as well. So we are fully
I'm sure
monitored.
they will have monitors too. to
Yes.
monitor what you are
We
doing.
also have monitors at the state level too.
Okay.
So it's like everybody is watching everybody.
Watching, yes.
It's not something, I'm sure you read in your reports where people diverted,
Oh, exactly.
people were
Palliative,
arrested,
palliative.
palliative trucks of but
Even
we
some
never
kings,
have.
some kings
Yes.
in some areas were even beaten up because they're trying to hide
because they're trying to
palliatives,
hide.
yeah.
But ours we must follow that process. And of course, governor is somebody, if he gives you assignment, you don't go to sleep. Because it calls you up every time, any time of the night. Jaro, how many trucks do you have now? So you must have them at the back of your head. Okay, we have 50 trucks or we have 20 trucks. How many do you move to S? You just have them, you have to give
up and doing.
up and do it. So you go with your file, and as you sleep, you must be very sure. So how many do you give to this particular person? You must be very truthful and say, okay, we give them 10, or we give them 5, we give them 5 ton, and this is what is remaining. So that way you, like Potter's wife, you must live above board.
Thank you very much. So you have actually enlightened us, and I hope viewers out there, you have heard from our guest, Honorable Olorogun Jairo Ebro. He's a special advisor to the governor on transport matters and of course coordinator, Subsidy Palliatives Committee, Delta State. Livet, any last question from you to him?
No last question. I'm just congratulating him for doing this, and
Yes.
we're urging that they do more. And I really can't wait to see the CNG vehicles come in. Yes.
I'll come again when we want to start this palliative.
Definitely.
Okay.
You're going to come and you're going to
Fine.
carry us along because we need
Yes.
to also monitor capture.
Publicity.
We need to pump up the publicity
Yes.
so that when they get to the area, the people who are supposed to get it, if they don't get it, they know who to hold responsible. I think it's probably they won't be in position to question anybody.
On Thursday morning ride. We'll go on a short break, please. Go
Thank
nowhere.
you for having me.
have actually come to the end of a Thursday morning ride this beautiful day, the 25th day in the month of February 2024. Want to say thank you so much for your time. Remember, it's World Malaria Day. It is the commonest and yet the deadliest disease. No other ailment had killed people like this up to today. It is said that over 500,000 Africans, especially Nigerians, die of malaria every year. The pandemic or epidemic and disease should and must be fought against by any well-reasoning individual and, of course, government across Africa. And from Lilivet,
As we celebrate World Malaria Day, please stay safe. Make sure you have your mosquito net when you want to go to bed. And also keep your environment clean from stagnant water and dirt. Have a beautiful Thursday. Bye.